Hey everybody, welcome to the Co-Host Bros podcast. I'm Matt and I'm here with Austin. How you doing, Austin?
I'm doing good. What's going on, everybody? Super excited to be here and getting this thing rocking and rolling.
I know we talked about this like 2 days ago. We probably sat down and had lunch 2 days ago talking about how we wanted to start a podcast and well shit, here we are, right?
I think that's just the entrepreneur in us. There's those people that sit around and wait all day long and never capitalize and overanalyze and all this stuff. And I think we're doing the right thing, just diving right in and getting started. And I think we have a lot to talk about. So excited for it.
Definitely, totally. Everything comes with action. So if you're not taking action, shit just doesn't happen and people don't realize that. So I mean, I always tell people they like to say that bad things come in threes, and I like to say good things come in threes. So let's talk a little bit about how we met. So how did I meet you?
So we both just got back from the conference, the short term rental conference in Nashville, and I didn't have the pleasure of meeting you at the conference. We weren't able to get drinks or anything like that. But I saw your wife; she was wearing the conference shirt at the airport, and me being who I am, a big networking guy, try and go out of my way to talk to everybody. I start talking to your wife. You come into the picture. We start chatting. We're both getting on the same flight, headed back to Houston, and then we basically realized that there's no short term rental meetup group in Houston, Texas. And that is insane to me because I've been to a bunch of networking events, a bunch of real estate meetups, and they were great, but it was always a bunch of people just doing a bunch of different avenues of real estate, whether it be wholesaling, flipping, stuff like that. So there wasn't a short term rental specific one. And that's kind of where you came up with the idea of starting one. So I don't know. You want to talk about that and talk about your experience of how that got going? Because I know we spurred the idea off at the airport and things just kind of fell together and you kind of capitalized on that, man. It was, and then the first meeting was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was well, first of all, it was kind of funny because I was thinking about it when we were in the airport when we met each other. And then what was even more funny was that there was probably like 10 people that were flying on the same flight as us that just came from the same conference as us, which lets you know that it's really just truly a small world. And I felt it was something that was needed. And when I said something about it to you, you felt like it was something that was needed. So like that was all I needed, that somebody had interest, right? So I said, "Oh fuck it, I'm just gonna do it." I created a group. I posted it in other groups, other Airbnb groups. I posted it in Bill's Short Term Rental Wealth group, but hosted by Bill Faith. He let me post it. I don't know if he let me post it to be nice or because I'm part of his mastermind, but he let me post it. We got about 100 members now, and the first meeting we had 20 people, which was pretty insane. Not as insane as this month. March is going to be ridiculous. We have Bill Faith himself coming. I'm going to go pick him up from the airport and bring him out there, and it's going to be fucking epic. So all these people that are just sleeping and don't want to drive from the other side of Houston, then they're just missing out because there's going to be so much value, so much knowledge, so much networking going on that it's going to be very important, especially for everybody, including myself. Everybody's going to win. You told me like the nugget you dropped on me at lunch about the winning situation thing. So I think that was a good nugget, and I appreciated that.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think that's super exciting, and for people that, you said that people that don't know Bill Faith and kind of like might live under a short term rental rock is was your terminology, and I agree because he's kind of the face of the short term rental space. So super excited to see him, and I think the first turnout once you posted that group with over 20 people showing up in a matter of a few weeks, and that's pretty amazing. And I think once we posted all the pictures and everything, everybody chimed in the group of how valuable that meetup was. I think it's all uphill from here, and then we just kind of have build out that short term rental group community in the Houston area, which is pretty exciting. And yeah, way to take the leadership on that and put it together.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be exciting for all of us. Like you said, it's a win-win-win-win-win. Nobody loses, especially when it comes to building relationships and taking the time with each other. Like we built a relationship over a short period of time from running each other in an airport. It's like a bro story, love story. What you call it, bro story, right? But I
There you
mean,
go.
so it's great the things that we come up with. So you're really into co-hosting, and we started this podcast because I'm trying to get into co-hosting, right? I have one property and you have, I think you have like six now, six or seven, maybe nine now. I don't remember what you told me at lunch. But why don't we dive into that and dive into why we're here and dive into what you're doing and some of the things that what's going on with your story. So let's just talk about that.
Sure. So I think for me, it was just trial by fire. And I started co hosting about 6 or 7 months ago and got some extreme momentum. I'm in a few other groups that we kind of wrap together and figure out what's working for each person, averaging about a property a month, which is pretty good. Learning a lot along the way. So just my main goal is to continue building out this co-hosting brand and business because I'm just doubling down in the market I was already invested in. And by doing good work over the past 3 years with my own property, I've been able to add more properties and leverage those relationships with people that I've met along the way. And I've been able to add the more properties to my portfolio. And now we're building out a brand. So that's really what it is. And then I'm just going to double down and go all in on that and got the momentum. So just keep trucking along there.
So you told me the other day that you had 3 meetings with 3 different clients. So how did that go?
It's going good. So I went out. I went out to the market, set 3 meetings for the day, looked at 3 houses. I'm thinking 2 of the 3 will close, and I think the one that I least wanted, anyways, kind of like backed out for whatever reason. I don't know. It kind of got me to the idea of like it's kind of like the short-term rental guests. People that pay the lowest dollar are always the most difficult guests, and I feel like I've learned that with taking on partners in a co-hosting business as well. Sometimes the lower revenue properties have the highest expectations and end up being the most difficult, and I kind of got that vibe. So anyways, not to be too negative, but that one kind of fell off. The other 2 meetings went really well. So my main goal also in this is treating this business like it's a sales job. You got to put your sales hat on every day and just go to market and always try and keep a full pipeline because if you're not selling, then you're not growing. If you're not growing, you're dying. So I think that's the main thing, and you just keep hammering. And there's all these creative ways to get people. And the great thing about co-hosting is if you really know what you're doing, like especially like you do, where you're so good and dialed in with the systems and the processes and stuff like that, you can go to somebody from Vacasa or somebody that has a larger property management company that can't pay attention to these fine-tuned details. And that's where you come in and you're like, dude, I can make you more money. I can increase your occupancy. And it's like you have a really good skill set to where if you stacked 3, 4, 5 properties, you'll immediately give value to the partners that you take on. So I'm excited that you're going to start picking up properties and hammering down on getting more clients that way.
It's funny you said that because I got an email probably like 2 minutes after you had texted me this morning, and my Fiverr guy sent me my. So my list. So for those who don't know, I'll let Austin explain what I'm talking about. But so my Fiverr guy sent me my list. I have my postcards on the way as well. So I'm gonna do a little marketing, reach out and touch them a couple times, in hopes that I make a better conversion than you know 1 out of every 10 or 2 out of every 20 or whatever it is. Hoping I can touch them with the cards, and then after I touch them with the cards, I'm gonna wait about a week, week and a half, and then I'm gonna touch them with the text. Then I'll wait a week and a half and I hear nothing. I'll touch it with a phone call, maybe an email, so on and so forth. But we'll get into marketing on another episode. We'll probably bring somebody who's a better marketer than me, but I do love marketing and it does get me going. But so I kind of want you to maybe explain the strategy that I'm referring to when we talk about the Fiverr guy, because I got the Fiverr guy from you, right? So you gave me the Fiverr guy's name. We're just calling him the Fiverr guy, but let's talk about that strategy.
I think in this business, there's so many hats that you can wear, and there's so many things that you can do in this business. And it's like, how many rabbit holes do you want to go down, and where do you want to allocate your time? So, one thing that I was wasting a lot of time doing was finding owners' contact information and reaching out to them. It was very time consuming. Sometimes it would lead to a dead end, and I wouldn't be able to even find the owner's contact information. So, what I'm always trying to do in business is leverage other people's time to take things off of my plate. So what this guy will basically do is you come up with all the listings and you put it in an Excel file and send it to him, and basically he will do all the what is the term I'm looking for? What is it?
Skip tracing.
There, yeah, there you go. So he'll do all the skip tracing for you. I don't know why I just blanked out, but he does all the skip tracing for you. He'll get all the data for you. Now, yeah, that's great, but you have to be the one that's going to be like, okay, call the damn leads. So that's on you. So basically, all that to be said, one thing I could probably implement better is a better CRM to keep track of who these people are leading out with and who I'm leading with. And then kind of like what you were saying is like, I'm going to follow up with them in a week and then I'm going to send them a postcard here. And then I'm going to do I don't have that in place. So when you brought that up, that's kind of something that opened my eyes like, okay, I know that I'm not really tracking this as well as I could be. I'm just like, hey, set meetings, set meetings. So to touch on that, yeah, he saved us a bunch of time. He'll find the info, and then it's like, okay, you didn't spend 10 hours trying to go figure out who the owner is and all that stuff like that. So yeah, like even today, I have a new listing going up, and I'm getting to the point where it's like I don't even want to put captions on photos. So I'm like, okay, I don't really want to take all the shortcuts, but hey, I know the guy on Fiverr that'll write these captions, or let's see what ChatGPT does, so I can, I don't have to sit there and try and be creative when I'm not a creative person anyway. So that's one way you can leverage somebody else's time to get more of your time back. So I'm sorry, I'm excited for you to start hammering those leads.
I think that's where why we get along so well is that you're the real like this is the direction, this is what I'm doing, and I'm really like fuck it, let's try it, let's go here, let's do that. I'm the creative one, right? So I think that's where we bounce off each other. With the leads, what I did is I created a sheet, and I'm gonna revise it, but I was just going off it. So my sheet was basically like star rating, who rents the property, Casa Evolve, other the link, the address, the phone number, name, email. Do they respond to the text? Yes or no? Do they respond to an email or read my email? Yes or no? Which, by the way, MailChimp, free platform. If you send an email, it'll tell you if they open it. You can look. It'll tell you if they click something on it. They'll tell you if they click text on it. If you click anything on it, you just have to set it up. Um, so like that, but I'm gonna create a different tracking sheet. I'm not really good with Excel. It's funny too, which is just to another thing out of nowhere. I was talking to my wife the other day. She was interviewing somebody, and she likes to ask them, what level of Excel do you think you're in?" And everybody tells her master, and I'm like, "What?" Because they could fucking sort a spreadsheet. Like, no, come up with the macros, build some crazy shit, and then let's talk. Because I can only build a table. That's it. That's me. That's all I'm doing. I'll have my 14-year-old do it, which my 14 will do a lot of editing on this podcast, and he'll be doing shorts and things like that as you see the content coming out. That'll probably come from my 14-year-old who's creating the content for this for you guys. So he's pretty smart. So he's probably going to end up being our producer someday once we get some more listeners like you. So tell your friends about us and follow us on social media anyway, but yeah, so I'm excited for this. It's funny because we talked about the co-hosting at lunch, and you were like, because you're 2 hours away, and you're moving to the area where you co-host, and I'm over here like, nah, I want big targets, far away from me. It's like 16 hours from us, right? At the beach. I don't care, and you're like, but you're not close, and I'm like, well, what do you do when your pipes burst? You call a plumber. So I'm just going to take that risk, and that's what I'm going to have to do, and that's what I have to tell them too, because Vacasa's not there too. Vacasa has a team, maybe like one guy who just walks around who thinks he's a property manager and doesn't actually manage the property. Why do you think Vacasa's can't even get superhost status? And that's fucking pathetic. Excuse my language, but it's pathetic, right? I mean, superhost status is a piece of cake. I can get superhost status in my sleep. You don't even have to try. You just keep it clean, right? And keep it clean and take care of them. So.
So no, I was going to say one thing off of that. Yeah, it's super funny that you say that because we have one of our co-host mastermind groups, and somebody sent a picture in there. They were getting marketed by Vacasa, and Vacasa basically their
Yeah.
mailer said we average something along the lines of we average 4-star cleaning on all of our properties. It's like
Something to be proud of.
that's bad. Yeah, so that's super funny that you say that. So, um, yeah, I don't know. That's wild, but yeah, there's always some low hanging fruits there with Vacasa.
There is. So on your property, did you use a certain kind of lock for all your properties, like door lock?
It's tough, man. It's really tough because sometimes they already have some kind of tech stack in place. And the amount of value you bring, you can potentially say, "Hey, we need to spend about $1,000, $2,000 and replace all your stuff." So one thing I've been dealing with is just locks are kind of non-negotiable. We have to use the Schlage encode ones just because that's the key. But like there will be different security systems potentially that we have to use, or there'll be different smart thermostats that are already in place. Plus, I'm kind of at the point where it's like, do I really want to buy all this, coordinate the logistics, also make them spend more money? it's just kind of starting out on the wrong foot. But the locks are kind of non-negotiable. To answer your question, yeah, I like the Schlage code because it connects with hospitable. I don't even really check them anymore because of the battery life, except for the battery life, and they kind of just do their own thing. Um, yeah, I don't know. What do you like? What do you have on
I
yours?
actually use the same lock. The battery life sucks at the beach. I'll tell you that. There used to have a lot of moisture problems in them. You can call
I've
Schlegel
heard
and
of
they'll
that.
give you a new one. I had to do that. Yeah, I had to do that once, but it wasn't because of moisture. And I converted over to StayFi. I could not get it to connect to the StayFi router. I could get everything in my house connected, but I could not get this lock connected. And finally, Schleg sent me a new one. They said, don't worry about it, throw the other one away. I actually took the other one home to my personal residence and I was able to troubleshoot it more and figure it out. So I actually got two locks working. Thank you, Schleg. Sorry about that. If you want me to pay you, email me. But so what I did is that you put a silica packet inside of it. And that'll stop the moisture, and that's something else I learned from Bill as well. But my battery life doesn't last near as long. I've had a guest there since January 26th, and today is March 10th, and I just had to have the batteries replaced. And I just replaced them the day before she checked in. The battery life is terrible because of humidity. So they last about, well, it's 2 months of steady use, every day, daily use. But normally they last about 4 months. At first, when I first got it, it was lasting about six. But the weather does affect my batteries, unfortunately. But it's okay. Better batteries, they're nothing. Always leave extra batteries out, folks. I mean, simple, right? So,
Yeah, plus I think it goes back to that point you made earlier where you're going after these markets where you're a little bit distant from the area and being able to manage remote. It's like you only have so much time and you don't want to be going to the property every time to change out the batteries. And I saw one time in a Facebook forum, it was like somebody was talking about, should I invest? People might take this the wrong way, but somebody made a Facebook post. Should I invest in my backyard or should I invest far away? And everybody was saying invest in your backyard and learn first. And I was like, I was the one that commented. I said I disagree because when you do that, I feel like you're going to lean towards handicapping yourself and you're going to go solve these problems that are low dollar an hour tasks because you have the opportunity to solve these problems. And my point is that, hey, if I'm, 3 hours away, it doesn't really matter. If I'm 7 hours away, I'm not going to do this. So now I have to push myself to solve these problems like an entrepreneur and a business owner instead of, hey, the cleaner forgot to put toilet paper I down the street. And then all of a sudden, you're not a business owner. You're like a legitimate. I'm the property manager managing the property physically. So yeah, I think that's good. And I like your point about how, if there's a plumbing problem, like, okay, let me jump in the airplane and fly out there and fix it myself. It's like, doesn't matter if I live next door. I'm not coming over to fix that. I'm going to have somebody in place on my team that will be able to.
right. And I fell into that trap too, and I know you have as well, because we're both driving distance, right, from our short-term rentals right now. And I'm the first one to be like, oh, I ain't doing anything. Let me just go out there and fix the problem. No big deal, right? But how much does that really cost me? And I think that's more like right now you're thinking in those terms because you're really scaling at this point. So you got to get these systems in place. You got to figure out your follow up, especially with the people you're talking about. Like you're not tracking the people you're to follow up with. However, those people you follow up with might be one of the best deals you can get. They might have six more deals for you. You don't know because you don't follow up, right? And that's the key to sales. Like you were talking about sales in the beginning, you have to follow up. So, but I mean, that's the whole reason is why I'm doing it so far away because I don't want to be stuck in the trap to where I'm like, oh, it's just 30 minutes. Oh, it's just an hour. I'm not doing anything. Why not? Jump in the car. Let's go do something, right? So I fell into that trap. I fell into that trap plenty of times. I fell into the trap with a cleaner. I fell into the trap with batteries. I fell into the trap with the stupidest shit. And it's a waste of my time. And if I'm spending 2 hours driving there and 2 hours driving back and 30 minutes there, it's 4 hours and 30 minutes of my time. And I'm worth more than the $0 I'm getting to do it, right? I might as well spend $50 and have someone do it.
Right. But you have to do that to learn it that way because I've made trips up there before and I'm like, man, I spent 3 hours getting there, 3 hours back. And I get home and I'm like, I could have just, there was a way to solve this problem. And then you do that enough times and you're like, okay, I get it. This is not sustainable. Like I learned my
Yeah.
lesson the last three times I got punched in the face trying to do this myself, you know. But yeah, that's just kind of part of the game. I think that's the best way to learn is just get in the game and do it yourself and figure out how you can start offloading all these things to other people. Yeah.
Yeah. It's scary though. It's scary when you first do something like this and you first buy an investment and you want it to be close to you. And I understand that. And I've seen plenty of people in Facebook groups out there say, oh, there's no way you can manage remotely. Okay, there is, right? There's processes in place. There's things that we can use. PMS is like hospitable, like you said, which we both use. There's a million different things you can do, right? And I automating things. So, we've talked about other things and you're like, oh, you could do that. And I was like, yeah, like here, let me send you a PowerPoint and how I did it. But that's just like the things that I like, technology. And then when there's something that I don't want to try to figure out, like AI, I'll go ask my 14-year-old kid and I'll bring him in here and I'll be like, dude, show me how to use the AI to do this. So I did use AI a little bit on a listing description on some copy, but then I took that listing description, read it to my wife. We went through it. We added stuff, took stuff out, made it sound normal. So now if you read the copy on my beach house, which is on the Gulf of Mexico, and if anybody knows the Gulf of Mexico, especially in Texas, which is in Texas, by the way, like Galveston, but it's not Galveston. The water doesn't look that great. But if you read what I wrote about my house, you'd be like, holy shit, I'm going to the nicest beach in the world. I can't wait to go. I didn't lie. I didn't exaggerate. I just explained the Golden Coast. The coast is gold. The sand is gold. I'm not lying. 14 miles of refreshing beach. Beach is refreshing. I'm not lying. Just making it sound good so that when the guests come, they can come relax and unwind and want to enjoy themselves. And it's tough. And it's tough to write copy. And just like you said, you didn't want to write right under your pictures, which I think is the most mundane task out of setting up anything, to sit there and write copy under every single picture. But you have to. You have to. You have to take those steps to be better than everybody else. Because if you don't take those steps, you won't be on the first page. You won't convert as well as everybody else, right? And when you're co-hosting, the idea is converting, right? As many people as possible get those bookings. You make more money.
No, I could agree. And like I was saying earlier, I noticed whenever we're running this business, it's like there's like 13 tabs open on your computer at one time just to run your business. And you can't be the best at everything. So anything you can have help with or outsource is the way to go. And especially as you're scaling, I'm looking forward to taking on a few more properties so I can start paying people to do certain things, like potentially offboarding guest communication. I do everything. I'm a one man show right now, so I'm looking to offboard maybe guest communication or potentially revenue optimization, or maybe the guy that goes in SEO and mix it up. Maybe if I can find a VA that does all these things combined and then build out some operational person and the game, and then the whole game is to just build the business and pull out and just be knowledgeable and be the business owner. So that's my goal. But yeah, I can agree. I would ask you this. What do you think? Because I know you're good at marketing. I see all your Facebook posts. Good at marketing, good at systems, good at running a business, good at running a short-term rental. Is there anything you can't do? No, I'm just kidding. But no, like what area you think like, because for me, I think it would probably be a lot of the stuff that you're good at, I'm not good at. So the marketing side of things, I probably could, improve always on revenue and stuff like that. But um definitely the tech side is kind of my weakness. What do you think, like something that you're, as you scale and build your business, the first thing to go or thing you don't like doing or you're not good at? Sorry if that was a confusing question.
Oh, no, no, no. So the first thing to go, and then I'm not good at, is taxes and bookkeeping. Yeah, I'm gonna be
Oh yeah.
realistic. I'm doing taxes right now myself. Um, yeah, fuck that. Fuck taxes. I'd say the best thing about this business is that you could do it all from your phone. So that you can. However, if you run Facebook ads like I do, don't try to do it from your phone. It's a pain in the ass. It's hard. You have to get on the computer, which sucks. But I try to take advantage of it every Thursday. I have a mastermind meeting with my accountability group, and every Thursday, in between times when I'm not paying attention, I am, but I'm not. I start messing with my Facebook ads. We get on the computer and give me a reason to, or if I'm sitting here editing the podcast and things like that, then I'll be doing that. But I have to get myself to the computer because you have 12 tabs open. You do everything from your computer. I do everything from my phone. I do it everything from my phone except for my email marketing. Don't do it from my phone because it's too small and it's hard to adjust it and get the cruise to the right thing and fix a word or whatever. And Facebook ads, I don't. I might edit an ad, maybe like change a word. Like I might have an ad like, "Hey, sale ends Thursday," and then it'd be Thursday, so I might change it Thursday to today, right? And then just repost that ad. But something minimal like that I'll do, but anything else I won't. I am. I don't. I still don't. I don't think that I'm 100% efficient in those things that you say. I keep building upon those things. Like I keep trying to build on marketing, I keep trying to learn new techniques, I keep trying different techniques with marketing. But I will say that I'm good enough at it to where my house made a profit and it wasn't supposed to. But that's because I'm gonna tell you right now, folks, do your research because I bought a house just to have a second home. I didn't buy a house to rent it out. And then I'm like, got a bright idea, like, hey, I'm gonna rent this house out. And then I rent it out, and I'm like, oh, it's only supposed to make 9 grand on AirDNA. Once I figured out what AirDNA was, by the way, don't mind by listening to podcasts like this to learn things. So I bought the house. I started listening to the podcasts and looking up knowledge and trying to implement knowledge. And then when I finally ran the numbers on my house was supposed to make 9K. How the fuck am I going to pay for the house 9K? Well, I marketed the shit out of the house and I made it about 30K. So I tripled their DNA projections. It's still in the low percentile because it's 5 minutes from the ocean because I didn't buy it to rent it. I bought it to keep it. Well, now I'm going to sell it. I'm going to sell it and I'm going to buy another house. And we'll go more into that on different episodes as we progress with that. And I'm going to run my numbers on this house to where it's netting me money. But in the meantime, like I said, we talked about I'm going to trying to get some co-host deals. And that's why I'm glad we're having this podcast because you got a lot of nuggets when it comes to the co-hosting stuff. So you got a lot of drip. That's what kids say nowadays.
Yeah, I would say, man, I don't be that guy giving unsolicited advice, but the only thing I would say is like that's first of all, that's an amazing learning lesson. Like there's your college degree in short-term rentals. You did it and you did it yourself. So now you have the status, you're a short-term rental owner, you know how to operate. Now you can just copy and paste and build it. And that was your education there, which is great. But now it's at a point where like, okay, now how can I move on and get to a more profitable market. And I think I like your idea, and I think where you're going with this is the right way. Is potentially buy whenever you identify where you want to co-host, also buy there and see if you can do like a 1031 or something, or have the funds to buy in a better vacation market, and then you use that as leverage when you're trying to get more clients and partners, and you're basically saying, hey, I own and manage here too. I treat your property the same way as if it was I was treating my own property. So you have that leverage in your back pocket that it's like, hey, I also own here. I'm in the game too. And they're like, okay, well, he's an owner too. That gives you more trust than somebody that just comes in and that they haven't done anything. They don't have any resume for this. And they're just like, hey, I'm a co-host. Hand me the keys over to your biggest purchase of your life and I'll give it a shot. It's like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I own here too. And I take this shit seriously. And I'm going to take your business very seriously. So I think I like that move, man. I think that's a good move.
Yeah, I'm not gonna buy in that market yet. The market that I'm honing in right now, I can't afford to buy in that market to be honest. But I am gonna hit that market. But I'm gonna hit that market just be like, look, my beach house was 5 minutes away from the beach. Doesn't matter what market. I was only supposed to make this. I can triple it. I tripled it. So if I can triple my revenue, I can make you more revenue. Especially if you got a 4.1 star rating and you're on Vacasa and they don't give a shit. They don't care. They're not going to use the strategies and pricing that I'm going to use. They're not going to try something different that I'm going to use. I mean, hell, I got a 3 month long rental right now, and that's unheard of in my place. And everyone's like, well, how did you do it? It's like, I fucking tried. That's what I did. I tried. I researched and I tried. So it's not easy. And yeah, we talked about it, and you're at the point to where I'm working to get. So I'm trying to get to the point like we talk about that I'm gonna go out there get and you're gonna read this book, The Pumpkin Plan by Mike Mikowitz, which we talked about. I just finished it today on my walk this morning, by the way. Uh, where I'm gonna scale up, and then once I scale up, I'm gonna cut out the low performing fruit, and then I'm gonna go from there. I'm going to put systems in place. And actually, it's funny you say that because I know you're having a hard time right now trying to get your systems in place to be able to get VAs to take over. You're going to have to train them, you have to teach them. So I was just thinking this morning when I was in the shower that, you know what? Once I get my first co-host deal and I got to set up an Airbnb listing, I'm going to throw on Loom. I'm going to record myself setting up that listing. I'm going to talk it through and I'm going to make an SOP. And then I'm going to have my wife make a written SOP because that's something that she does with her jobs anyway. So the main reason why I'm doing this is try to get my wife out of her job first. I don't really need to get out of my job right now. I'm okay, but I need to get my wife out of her job. And then if she chooses not to, then it'll be a different story. Then I guess I'll be quitting my job because I'm not scared, right? So I'll just do what I gotta do.
Yeah, I mean, if you run the numbers and it's a really profitable market, I mean, I don't know, 3 to 5 properties could potentially. I mean, if you close the right people and you those, you know, gems of properties, that might be enough to replace your income. I mean, just off of that. So
Yeah.
somebody might be able to bounce soon. Who knows?
I'm only targeting 120 gross or more. That's it. So I'm going big or going home. Really, I am. I mean, I could that I could go in my market and I could just show them what I did in my market, and I could probably get 50 people to sign up for me. But if I have 50 people and I'm managing 50 houses and I'm only making 50 grand a year, that's not fucking worth it. If I can make 25, 30 grand on one house, then I don't care how many no's I get. If I get one yes, I'm in the money. That's what it's all about. It's the same thing with the follow up, like you said. Doesn't matter how many no's you get, you keep following up. Eventually, you're going to get a client. And I'll give you a story as to why. I noticed this the other day. So I like cologne. I don't know if you like cologne. I like cologne. I've been eyeing this Versace cologne, and I just didn't want to spend the money. Like I'm like, fuck, it's just $100, just a waste of money. I don't care. I could deal with my $35 Nautica. I don't care. I don't need to buy this Versace, but I love this cologne. It smells so good. Versace Euros, if anybody knows, wants to know, blue bottle. So there's this website called Fragrance X, and you go on Fragrance X, and they have discount cologne. You make the face like it's the first time you ever heard of it. Check it out. It's pretty cool, Austin. Anyway, so I
Yeah,
add this Versace to my cart, and I've done this, fuck, I don't know, 10 times, probably 10 times in the last year, right? And they send me email all the time, nonstop. Every time I add to my cart, like they target the shit out of me. And one day I added to my cart. Next day I get an email about it, and I finally said, "Fuck it, I'm buying it. I'm tired of the emails." Like that's gonna stop them from sending me an email. It's not. But I bought the product because they kept talking to me over and over and over and over and over to where either I didn't get so sick of it I didn't want to unsubscribe because I still want to know about the sales, right? But I got so sick of it that I bought something, right? So that's what I would tell you with follow up is that little short story of how that happened because it was like now I just bought $100 bottle of cologne that I didn't fucking need because they keep emailing me.
yeah.
Stupid.
No, I can understand. I know that's a weakness in my game is the CRM and follow up, and I need to implement that kind of immediately because it's all different. They may be on the edge and they may not want to talk to you now, but something may happen in 3 4 weeks where they're you know less happy and then less happy, and it's like the opportunity they just keep seeing you, and you're the only one hitting their DMs all the time. That they're like,
Mm-hmm.
man, this current management company sucks. Like, this guy keeps blowing us up. Let's at least talk to him. So I can agree, man. That is the secret sauce right there, and I need to double down on that.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what it is. That's what it is with anything, though. That's what it is when if you email market your house. That's what it is if you run Facebook ads for your house. If you use buy, sell, trade groups. If you post to different groups. If you tell people, I have my IG handle for my house on the back of my car. I don't know if you noticed that. I drive around town everywhere I go with it on my car. Why? Because I'm in a drive-in market from where we live. Where we live, people drive to my house. So why wouldn't I have my handle on the back of my car? That's free advertisement. Not that it might not get me anything, right? But they might see my handle, and then a week later, be scrolling on Facebook and see my ad and be like, "Oh shit, that's the same thing I see on the back of that guy's car. It must be a good place. Let me go." Right? So that's really the goal: touching everybody you can.
Yeah, I think that also is another next step move for me. Once we get moved into the new house at the end of this month, and we're a little closer to the market, I'm gonna do something like that. I'm probably gonna wrap my truck or something real cool just to go bold with it. Why not? But
That'll be
yeah,
even
that I
cool.
like that move. I like that move.
Shit, wrap it with your business and then maybe wrap the back with the IG handles of the houses or something so people know who you are. Then they could pull the handles in the back, and then be like, "Oh, okay, this guy manages properties. I have one." Because you never know. It might not be, in the market you're in. It might be, I don't know, Pensacola, Florida. Someone might see it who happens to be here on vacation and be like, well, he looks like he has to be doing good. He can afford to wrap his car, right? People think that costs a lot of money. I don't know why, but it doesn't cost much. But I mean, he can afford to wrap his car. He's got this stuff on his business. He's advertising like this guy's got it all together. Fuck, let me call him. Hey, throw your Google Voice number on there, your email, or whatever, or your social media, and then even if got one, if you drove it for 5 fucking years and you got one person that called you off that, or you got one client off that, it's still better than nothing, right? So
Yeah, I mean, what does a co-host client make you? You know, what does a client make you per month? I mean, probably the first month of signing them probably paid for the itself. So if you get one from it, you know, boom, there you go. And that's kind of also a nugget that I like to use is referral fees. So if you're using realtors and stuff like that, and you have those relationships, just say, hey, you know, I'll shoot you something. And typically, if it would be like what I would make in the first month of signing them anyway. So I work for a month for free, but now I've got the recurring revenue for hopefully the next decade. So infinite ROI there.
What do you charge? What do you give for your referral fee? Does it vary?
Yeah, I think it just varies. It just depends. It's kind of tiered, like depending on the property revenue that's going to bring in. So if it's X
Mhm.
amount, maybe I'll do 500. If it's over, 80 to 100, maybe I'll do $1,000. Or it's kind of depending. I need to kind of, I have set numbers for it, but I just got to stay consistent with those numbers and lock it in because you don't want, people to talk and say, oh, Austin gives me this much for a property. Oh, well, he gave me this much. So I think the secret there is like whatever you decide, stick with it so you don't come back looking inconsistent or why does he give you more than me, and maybe people talk in business and you just want to keep that clean name. So
Especially in real estate, right? We all talk.
oh yeah, everybody
So
knows everybody. So
that rap thing is an awesome idea, and it's something that nobody's doing, right? So Um, and if you can get past the fact that you're not embarrassed to have it on your car, because some people are like, "Oh, I don't want everybody to know. I feel embarrassed." Well, you're scared of who you are. You're scared of what you're doing. Imposter syndrome, whatever, right? What we talked about, and I get it. I get it. I'm fearful too. I remember texting you. I think when I secured the meetup location, telling you I was full of adrenaline for no goddamn reason. I just like, God, I can't believe I'm doing this, right? And I just did it anyway. And that's what I was explaining yesterday on my post, that I assess things differently. I assess it as what is the worst case scenario of this, and once I figure out the worst case scenario is, I'm like, what is the solution to the worst case scenario? And then once I figure out the solution, I go. Like, I don't care about any other problem. It doesn't matter. The worst case scenario, I already know what the answer is going to be, how I'm going to fix that. So what does it matter? And additionally, what it's funny because you were talking about I give the referral fee, excuse me, and I pretty much pay them for my month, and then I work for free for 30 days. Which what I didn't tell you the other day when you were talking about the reservations of, like, about going so far from my house, is that actually that's how I was going to market, is that I was going to say, try me for 30 days for free. I will work for you for free this month, and you see what I can do. Maybe 60. I'm not sure yet. It depends on how big. If it's a huge revenue and I know I'm going to make a ton of money on it, I might say 60 or 45. I'll see what I can pull off. But I'm going to do that in order to secure the client, for one, for two, secure as many bookings during that time as possible, go all out, and then hopefully they'll keep me, which really they're going to, because they're not going to have to do all that work over again, right? And then just increase revenue from there, and then just get more people, more clients.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I like that move. I mean, if you could do it for free, the only thing I would say about that is be wary of like if you're in a seasonal market, because you might be in a real seasonal market and bookings are down regardless, and you're gonna be like, watch me do this, and it's like, shit, the business really kind of isn't there. But if you still know, like, it all just comes down to knowing your market, right? Like, if you look at their calendar and you're like, okay, I know this market, like that's really bad. What's your revenue look like? Okay, that's really. I know I can beat that. Oh, you have how many bedrooms? How many baths? Where is it located? Okay, even in a down season, I know I can beat that. So, yeah, especially like if you could beat it in busy time, and they're like, sometimes they're not willing to switch during that time, so it's hard. But yeah, I completely like that move. I've done it before. It didn't end up working out with that partner, but sometimes it just doesn't, and they did not to even do short term rentals anyway, so it wasn't a good fit. So I worked for free for a month and kind of got burned. But would I do it again? Sure.
I
If
mean, you
if
have the
definitely if like
systems.
yeah, and especially if it's like something like you're saying, like if it's only going for properties that only gross over 100, 150, whatever the number was you're saying, and one of those falls into that category, it's like I would have paid for this month for a referral fee anyways. I'll work for free for it either way.
Yeah, yeah. Well, so we'll see what happens with it. And I mean, you worked for free for that guy, but then obviously it wasn't meant to be. I mean,
Sure.
and how much work is it? I mean, yeah, it's work. I got to set up listings. I forget to add, I was going to work for free. However, I was going to require them to pay the tech fee monthly, right? So I do have to get that tech fee because I'm going to use that tech fee to run advertisements. So I will. do better, right? I will do better because I will run Facebook ads and I will run Facebook ads to the markets where they're coming, even when it's slow, and I will do pricing strategies and I will do better. I will beat the occupancy of the market, so I will get them occupied. And then because owners are looking at the revenue, they are and they aren't, but really they just see their houses booked. That's what they see. They see the occupancy, and that's what makes them feel that they're doing a good job. Just like most people.
Yeah, and I think also once they try you for free, it's kind of like you're still essentially onboarding them fully. So like they're just one step further to working with you because then it's like if for some reason at the end of the month, like, hey, it didn't work out, it's like, okay, all you have to do is click a few buttons and they're off your thing, but they have to go back to the drawing board and it's like, damn, I need to find another property manager and do this all over again. So you're like already pretty much closed the sale. You just have to execute and perform at that point. So yeah, great move. If you get somebody to do it, like even, I mean, heck, even like if it's one of these higher grossing properties, like maybe you sell like 60 days. I don't know. Maybe I'm giving up too much, but I guess it really just depends where you are. If you're already the guy, you're like, your standards and you're like, nah, man, like I'm not doing that for free anyways. Or if you're just still getting into the game and you're like, hey, I need proof of concept. I need to show that I'm able to do this and prove, then okay, well, I need to be doing it for free. I don't have an option. Nobody wants to sign with me because I don't have any clients yet. And what I need to do to get the ball rolling, then I will manage for free for 30 days or whatever. So love that move.
People don't understand that though. People want instant gratification. Did you
Yeah,
have to
but
work to get these?
a lot of the momentum came from Facebook groups, from owning the market, and you just put it out there, let them know what I'm doing. Hey, this is my property. This is how much we do, and I'm really good at this. Blah blah blah. Introduce myself. This is where we operate, and people just started calling me. Once you get them on the phone, you just kind of you just talk short term rental, and based on our podcast, we know more than majority of people out there already. So it's like these owners are still going to be impressed with what you know, regardless if you're a top level operator. So yeah, I think Facebook groups was a good way that got the ball rolling. Then it came down to referrals, and then those are the two ones that are the best. And then referrals are the best because it's strategically the highest percentage of a close because somebody else is saying, "Hey, I already trust Austin. Like that's who I want to that's who you should do business with." So they're already like, "Okay, this is the guy. Let's talk to him." Okay, just don't be a complete douchebag, and you should have it in the bag if somebody referred you. So that's been working the Facebook groups, and then once things kind of dry up from that, because there's only so much that can come from that, that's when I kind of hammer exactly what you're doing is the cold outreach to owners.
So I was one of those people when I bought my house that it wasn't meant to be a rental house. I asked my realtor, "How much money can I make on this? What's the best cleaner in the area? What's this?" And then I just realized that God, there's so much shit I didn't know. And there's still so much shit I don't know. I mean, there's I learn every day. There's things that I try all the time, and I try to share everything that I learn with everybody. And we've had this discussion. Sometimes I just go really complex. I don't start with something simple like, "Hey, what's a coffee bar?" or something small like, "What door lock?" Right? That's kind of why I brought it up today. I'm trying to learn to be more what's the word? Beginner. Put the beginner out there because I always want to go to like intermediate to expert automatically, and that's just how I am, and I can't stop myself from that. So, uh, yeah, I was one of those people. Don't be one of those people. Run the numbers. Figure out how to run the performa. If you don't know how to run the performa, there's trainings out there. I know Bill Faith gave a free training about a week and a half ago on a performa, him and John Hodge, and it was good. And they gave you the performa for free. There's calculators out there. I wouldn't use it. That's like calculating, I don't know, your ovulation. I don't think that's probably accurate, those calculators, but I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you know, I think that you hit on a good point there based on like content and stuff like that. We have these very high level conversations, but I recently started putting content out there, filming my own videos, just trying to build a more personal brand. And what I've realized is that like what we talked about at lunch the other day, and you're like, you weren't saying my stuff was simple, but you're like realizing like, man, I just realized like a lot of you think about your followers on social media, and it's like there's a good percentage of people that already know this because they're in your atmosphere, you're in your environment and stuff like that. But the bulk of your followers have like if you start talking high level, what we're talking about here for specialized, short term rental operators and co-hosts, those people will understand. But from a content perspective, just a simple stuff like talking about locks or how am I getting clients or what property management software do we prefer? Certain simple things like that is the real value for people that really don't even know what we're talking about. Like, oh, okay, well, I didn't know they had specialized locks for this, and people prefer these. Okay, interesting stuff, Austin. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough. Well, what I wanted to do to try to increase revenue in my property this year, but then I decided not to because, my wife and I had a discussion while we were on one of our walks, and we're gonna end up, listing it next month and getting something bigger. But I may implement this at the property next property I get, and I'm putting it out there because I just kind of want to. I don't know if I've shared it with you or you've heard of it. There's a company called Hostco where you can sell things that people need. So, like, for instance, you're in a lake market, right? Sunglasses. Yeah, you buy a 3 pack off Amazon for $12. Sunglasses. I wish I had a set with me. I'd show you the glasses because I'm cheap like that. But you sell them for $12 a piece, right? So you're making 24 bucks. So I may set something up like that. I was gonna set it up. I was actually gonna buy these electronic lockers, kind of like they have like at airports or like water parks. You can get a set of them for like 500 bucks, and they have like different codes. You could probably talk them down to 400 on Marketplace. Like so not knock the price down, be a low baller. But because it depends on how long they've been sitting there, it's like real estate. But yeah, so I was gonna do this house. I was gonna put sunglasses, sunscreen, barbecue kits, firewood bundles, right? I was gonna go to HEB, buy some firewood bundles for like $5 and sell them for 8, right? Buy, the matchlight small bag for freaking $4 at HEB and sell it for like 10, right? With the lighter. That's $1 at HEB, so $5 my overhead and it's $5 my profit. Sun hats, little things like that. Because I have a lady in my mastermind group that does that. She doesn't lock it up. She just has a locked closet. But she's in the Poconos, so she's a lot higher ADR than I am, and she has probably a lot better clients than I do, right? People are there's small families that don't have a lot of money but want to come to the beach, right? So that's the only reason I went to locks. Plus, I'm just paranoid. She put a camera in hers, and hers is fake. She just said it doesn't work. I don't know, but I won't tell you who it is, so y'all can't steal her shit. But yeah, so that's something I thought about messing around with, which would be cool, and you can integrate that with StayFi if you use StayFi. I also want to put another point. I'm sorry, is that when I do get these co-host people, is I want to figure out how I'm gonna get them force them to integrate to StayFi and to integrate those locks. And probably put it in my contract, but I'll need to explain the benefits of it because email marketing is gold. It's gold. You can't beat it. You really can't beat it besides the actual physical mail marketing, which actually the numbers on physical mail marketing still holds up. But yeah, you can't beat it, and you got to collect these email addresses. You would increase your even if you made all your clients in your 6 properties, including your own property, implement StayFi for the small upfront cost, which is probably excuse me, gosh, it's about 200 bucks I think for the router, and it'll cover probably all those houses unless you have a house that's over like 1,500 square feet. You might need another, and it's like $5 a month or $10 a month or something. But the fact that you could take those emails once you get 100 emails, you can put a Facebook ad lookalike list and it will target to all those people. So if it knows that people like you and your interest is kayaking, and your interest is fishing, and your interest is dogs, and Austin goes here to this spot, it's going to find the same person just like you, same demographics, same age, same interest, same everything, based off all the Facebook knows more about us than anybody, based off all the shit on your profile. And it's going to find people just like you that go to your spot and just like me. So it's truly invaluable, and that's just what I'm worried about how I'm going to push that on the client.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much you could do in this business, man. It's wild. It's seriously wild. Like there's so many vendors, there's so many it's overwhelming and sometimes like my thought process is like and stick to the bread and butter. Like your marketing, like you're good at the marketing. And that's getting your outreach there is getting you those, direct bookings. Like so keep hammering that because you're good at it. I love that. But yeah, like I said, whenever I'm operating this business, it's like looking at my other monitor over here. It's like 13 tabs open. It's like so much going on. But love it.
Well, you were late today, right? Because you had an Airbnb fire to put out.
Yeah, yeah, still doing the guest messaging. I wouldn't say it was a real fire, but it was like I don't know, it was like a last minute inquiry. And I was like, I don't want this to sit. Let's just decide. Spring break, like let's get on it. But it wasn't too bad of a fire. I probably was just late. It was just late.
Oh, you had a
How did
bigger
you work
fire the
out
other
this?
day.
Oh yeah, yeah. We don't want to get into it on that, but that is not a management problem. That is a property owner problem that they neglected, and it's beyond the management company. But anyways, we can leave that. As you said, how we talked about this, we can cut that out, but we're really not going to cut it out, so it's all good.
Yeah, probably not. Yeah. I also want to say though, I love your T-shirt. I don't know where
Oh
it's
yeah,
from, but I mean, it's true, right? You have to believe in yourself. You have to bet on yourself, right? In all situations.
yeah. It's fitting for the first episode because this is our first episode of many to come, and we're betting on ourselves, and we're going to do this, for the long term. And I'm putting that out there now. So we're not gonna, this isn't a one and done episode. We're going to continue to bring value to people and share our wins. And we're looking forward to having some of the guests that we have lined up coming on. And so yeah, it's my shirt. Bet on yourself. It's another mastermind group that I'm a part of. It's just general business owners. It's called Real Business Owners. So it's a bunch of small business owners that own, a lot of blue collar companies and stuff like that. But I am a firm believer in being part of mastermind groups within your own industry so you can learn everything about your specific industry. And then another general entrepreneurship kind of mastermind. It's good to be a part of that because you start exploring and thinking about things from a different angle and what's working in other businesses that may correlate into your industry or they may not, but it's just a great way to network with other entrepreneurs and the value that, the real business owners community has brought to my life has been amazing. So anyways, that's what the shirt's from. So boom.
And it's good to be part of a tribe. It is. And be able to have somebody like I have friends outside of this, and I can't call them and be like, "Hey, man, this guest is being a bitch and blah blah blah, and this is a problem." But I can call you, right? I can call you. I can call anybody else in my mastermind group. I can call all the people that I've met going to the conference. Um, I could do those things, and it's hard to do what you're doing, especially like in this business or any business really. If you're trying something new, you're not going to get anywhere without people. It takes people to get where you're going to be. I mean, regardless, right?
Yeah. Yep, agree 100%. I mean, it's so cheesy to say this, and it's like, you might want to you cringe, but it's like your network is your net worth. You are a sum of the five people that you spend the most time with. It's stupid. We all scroll through TikTok and we all see these
Yeah,
entrepreneur gurus saying the same shit, but they're saying the same shit for a reason because it's the truth. So it is corny, it is cheesy,
yeah.
but I keep saying this term. It is also cliche. It's the secret sauce.
Dude, I thought masterminds were such bullshit. Every time I'd hear somebody, I'm like, they're just trying to sell me. They're just trying to sell me. I joined a mastermind. I started a meetup. We started a podcast. I got some big names coming to the meetup. We're gonna have some good names coming to the podcast. Like, shit,
Hell yeah.
I would never have done this if I wasn't around other people, right? I would just be sitting here like, how do I increase revenue in my shitty property? That's all I'd be doing, trying to
Yeah.
figure it out, right?
Yeah, and the really good mastermind groups is like they're not even their goal is not even to like just get money from you. Their money that your money is to back into the community, is to pour back into those networking events that they set up, they pay for, they bring you to town for. It's stuff like that that's like it's not even like a scam. But I agree, it does seem that way, and like you kind of are standoffish at the beginning, but it's like once you join stuff like that, you're like, okay, yeah, that was worth it. I'm not leaving.
It goes full circle. The money then goes to either invest into you or to invest in the others. Like it really just does. Like I mean, like I have my coach and my mentor, Bill Faith, coming, and I paid for his mastermind. He booked the flight. I offered to pay for his flight to come to this meetup. He said he'd come, and I offered to pay for his flight. He booked his own flight. I offered to pay for his accommodations. He's booked his own accommodations. So it's really he's taking the investment I put into myself and I put into him to invest into me, and now he's investing into me. He's using his money to invest into me. So I think that's just what the community is about, right? So we're here to invest into each other, and we're here to, hold each other up. And it's like any community. It's like if you go to church community. If you're part of any kind of community, it's to hold each other up. And I'll tell you, if you have friends and you have people in your life that are negative all the time, fucking cut them out. They're your family members, cut them out.
Guilty.
Guilty. Me too. Me too. And if I told people the people I've cut out of my fucking life, they wouldn't believe me. They'd say you're a heartless motherfucker. But I tell you right now, I it's not that I don't love these people, right? It's that my life is so much better when I'm a distant from these people because I feel a type of way when I come around you. I feel a certain type of way when I leave you, and I don't want to feel that fucking way. I want to feel empowered. I want to feel like I'm fucking doing the right thing, and it's the positivity for me, right? And it's the pushing each other. Like I know that I can call you and say, Austin, this is what I want to try, and you're gonna be like, do it, try it, see what happens. Let me know. I want to know. Like you're going to be excited about it. You're going to be excited for me, right? You're going to be happy for me. You're just, even if I'm winning, you're going to be happy for me. You're not going to be jealous, right? Same thing for me with you. I'm going to be happy that you're winning, right? That's why I ask you, like, hey, how the deal's going? What's going on? Because it's all about winning together. There's regardless, right? We make each other better people. So surround
Yeah.
yourself with people.
Oh, I couldn't agree more, man. Some people you just have to get them off the fucking bus. It's just like friends, family. It doesn't matter when you go around those people and they suck and they're miserable and they now on you. Just get rid of them, man. It doesn't matter who they are. You know where you're going. You know what you're doing, and blood doesn't make you family, man. And I'm not singling out any family member or anything like that or anybody that you're going. You're not going that route, but exactly like I would consider you more family than some other family that I have. So anyways, and I always look at it like this, like the way to do it, right? You have a battery, you have an emotional battery here. When you talk or you're around this person, do they drain you or do they fill you up? It's very simple. Okay. If they drain you, get them off the fucking bus. If they fill you up, then
Mm-hmm.
that's the kind of person like, hey, when my phone lights up and Matt calls, it's like, I'm not like, oh, fuck, man, dude, fuck this guy. He's just going to bring me down. It's like, oh, dude, let's see what this guy's got going on. Which one are you? Right. And if you're one of those people on the other side, then, you know, life is too short to keep these negative, whiny, complainy, gossipy people, one uppy, keeping up with the Joneses, nonsense, bullshit attitude people. There's no point in keeping them around. Like, just get rid of them. I couldn't agree with you
Yeah.
more, man. But yeah, we're diving heavy into the mindset side of things now. So, co-host bros don't just talk about only co-hosts. We talk about all areas of life and just how to win and be the best version of yourself.
I think we just talk about what we learn and our experiences and what we want to learn. So we want to inspire you to take your steps in your journey, do what you have to do. If you have no short-term rentals, go get one. Don't get one. Do what you want to do. I mean, you want to ask us questions, shoot us questions, whatever. It's up to you. So we're just here to help, try to inspire people, try to give back. That we things have been given to us. People have given us advice. People have put our hand on our shoulder when we needed it and helped us and help lift us up. So we're just really here to help lift you up and hopefully help teach you on a subject that you want to know about, help teach you about short term rentals if that's what you want to know, or co hosting if that's what you want to know. And we're just want to help, really. So we appreciate everybody that's listening.
Heck yeah, man, we're right at an hour, so I feel like we made pretty good time. Covered a lot of good nuggets. Want to plug our Instagram handles or emails, whatever, so people can reach out. If you have questions, if you're interested in being on, we've got some speakers lined up. But if you want to get in, we can perhaps have a call. We'd love to you and you come on and share your story. I'm on Instagram as Austin Spitz, Austin underscore SPITZZ. So you can follow me there, shoot me a message, like my stuff, whatever you want to do, or don't, doesn't bother me. But we can do that, and then you want to plug your info, and then you can find me on Facebook as Austin Spitz too. And yeah,
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook as Matt Codd and CODD, which you see our name in that corner there. You can find me on Instagram at MattCodd83. Somebody else had my name, those bastards. You can also find me on TikTok, Creative Cods. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at the Co-Host Bros. So just search Co-Host Bros Podcast, and you'll find us. Pretty soon we'll have a website and an email. We'll put it out there so you can email your questions and ask us questions so we can get our question and answer segment. As we discussed in a different podcast, we're going to do three kinds of segments. We're going to do co-host nugget segment. We're going to do the full same co-host bros podcast. What we're doing now, we're going to interview people. We're going to do a question and answers podcast. We want to get as much value out there as possible for our good listeners and for guests and for us. I mean, we don't grow without you. I mean, honestly, we're all water. We're all trees and water. We all just got to grow together. So if you listen to this podcast on any kind of platform, please like it. Please give us a review. Please message us. If you want to say something negative, go ahead and put something negative on you there. I'll respond and tell you fuck off. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm the first person who don't give a shit what you think. So
Yeah, and the show goes on, so no
Right.
worries. You ain't stopping us.
All right, so let's wrap it up. We got the hour, over an hour. I'm 2 minutes right now. I want to be cognizant of everybody's time on yours. We got things to do, plus got a lot of editing to do because we got a lot of nuggets in this one. There's going to be a million reels out of this podcast. I mean, it's shit. We could just stop right now and just never do this again. We would have that many reels. So thank you everybody for listening, and yeah, have a great day.
See ya.